Hi everyone, it's Mari here for Honeybee Stamps. Today I'm going to be creating this sweet little card for you today using Lovely Layers Love Birds, Bold Backgrounds Vintage Roses, Lovely Layers Birdcage, and the By Your Side Sentiment Set and coordinating dies. I'm starting off here with the Lovely Layers Lovebirds, and I have these all die cut out here. Now there is a layering guide that comes along with this die set, so you can follow that guide for an easy assembly of these die cut pieces. I'm adding some Kitsch Flamingo to my die cut pieces here just to create some really pretty pink and white birds. And I'm starting off here with my Kitsch Flamingo on the tail feathers and the lower portion of the birds. I'm also going to add a little bit of ink blending to the head area of the bird as well. And then, of course, the feathers and other pieces that are going to be added as layers on top of these really beautiful pieces here. So you can see that there's lots of really gorgeous embossed details in these die cut pieces. This embossing is created by the dies themselves when you die cut out these pieces. It's very, very cool, and there's so much fun detail that you can add, whether it's with your colored pencils or whatever coloring tool that you like to use when you're coloring your die cuts. So here you can just see I'm adding a little bit of that pink detail to the top of the head portions of these birds. And once I'm all finished with that Kitsch Flamingo, I'm going to go ahead and add some picked raspberry for some darker accents. So some of the darker accents will be added to the tail feathers and then the layers of feathers, so smaller little pieces, and then the tops of the heads. So here you can just see I'm adding in these details with this picked raspberry. It's just going to look so pretty as a contrast with that Kitsch Flamingo. So I'm just adding in this ink blending here now onto these top layered feathers, and I'll do that in the same way with the ones for the top bird there as well. So I'm just using my tweezers to place these feathers into place just to show you where those are going to be placed when these are all assembled. So going in there with that picked raspberry again for that top bird and adding that little bit of contrast with that darker pink. And I just love the combination of the Kitsch Flamingo and the picked raspberry. I think it's really pretty. And here you can just see I'm adding that picked raspberry to the top of that top bird's head as well. And then just that really nice dark pink for those layered feathers. So these are just going to be added on here. And now I'm just going to use my tweezers to help me place everything all together here. I'm going to go ahead and add my liquid adhesive to layer these pieces together. And again, as I said earlier, you can definitely use that layering guide to help you out here with layering these pieces together. But honestly, these are so easy to assemble. You really wouldn't even have to worry about using the layering guide, but it is nice and handy just to have that to help you put these different layers together. So this little layer here, this feather, actually probably should have gone on first. And I think that is suggested in the layering guide, but I definitely forgot to do that. So I'm just going to lift up the edge of the bird and stick that in behind. And that's just going to have that really nice dark feather detail there on the side of the bird. So again, just using that liquid adhesive to help get this adhered onto and into that spot. And the die cut edge does match with those feathers, so it's really easy to figure out exactly the placement for these little feather pieces for the sides of the little bird. So now you can see how nice that's coming together. I did die cut the little eye piece, the larger eye pieces out of a really pretty kind of a teal green glitter cardstock. And then the tiniest little eye detail is black. And the beaks and the feet for the birds, I did die cut out with some kind of a cream colored cardstock. Now I'm just going to show you here what these look like up close. They're just so pretty. I love the pink and white. I think it's a nice little touch. Now this is the Bold Background Vintage Roses die. When you die cut out the background piece here, you can see that you've got all of the different areas for the different flowers and buds to go into place. So there are coordinating dies that you are going to die cut out to create the layers of these roses that are going to go over top of that bold background. So some of these you have to cut more than once. So the largest rose, I believe you have to cut twice. The medium-sized rose and the buds you have to cut 3 times. So you're going to use those same dies to cut out the pieces that you need for each of those different flowers. And then when you have these all die cut out, then you can, of course, go ahead and adhere them together. Now, I really wanted my background to be white. And the reason why is because sometimes the focal point on a busy background can get a little bit lost, although there's techniques obviously that you can use to avoid that. But what I just wanted to show you today is how a white background and the use of white and white on white and texture can really help you create a really gorgeous focal point for your project. So my background is going to be totally white today, and I'm just creating this gorgeous texture with these beautiful roses from the Bold Background Vintage Roses set. Now, again, there is a layering guide that coordinates or helps you coordinate these different layers. So the layering guide does come with the die set, and it does help you to figure out where all of these different layers go. Once these are all assembled, they're absolutely gorgeous. And you could also use these roses, as standalones. You can use them separately from the background, but when you layer these onto that bold background piece, they are just so stunning. I love this so much. This is such a really, really cool die set. I think it's a must-have from the Vintage Love release. So that's that finished rose. And then this is the medium-sized rose. And so I'm going to go ahead and put that together here as well. And when I'm finished, I'm going to have 2 of the large roses, 3 of the medium, and 3 of the buds to adhere onto that background. So I'm just getting these little pieces all put together again with my liquid adhesive. This is the final step for the medium-sized rose. So I'll just get that put together, line up all of the different little lines, and then I'll finish up the buds. And the buds are really super easy to put together. There's only 2 pieces, the base piece, and then this overlay piece that if you color it, this would be the piece that would be green. And now you can see how all of those pieces fit together on that background to just create the most gorgeous textured piece for your project. So you can imagine this in color cardstock or cardstock that you have colored with your inks or whatever technique you want to use. But I chose to create this as a white piece for my background just to create that really nice, textured, beautiful white space background for my project today. So I'm just going to go ahead with my liquid adhesive and add that to the solid areas on the back of this bold background. I'm also going to be using the Lovely Layers bird cage today. I'm going to use just the one piece from that set that's going to create the little hoop for my little birdies to sit on. So this is a really, really adorable little piece, and it works beautifully, obviously, with the Lovely Layers lovebirds. I've die cut this also out of 3 different pieces of white cardstock so that I've got 3 layers of white and 1 layer of the aqua or teal colored glitter cardstock that actually matches up with the eyes of the little birds. So I'm going to layer these 3 hoops together, and then I'll layer that really pretty aqua glitter cardstock over top for the top layer. So I'm just going to use my just a tiny little bit of liquid adhesive on each one of these hoops and adhere these together in that way. And that's just going to make a really nice, almost like a chipboard piece for your project so that it's just a little bit more sturdy and thick when you're adding it onto your project as your focal point. Once I've got that layer all together, then of course I'm going to add this glitter cardstock piece on top. And that's just going to be really super shiny and pretty. And as I said, it does coordinate nicely with the little eyes of the birds. And I don't know if you can really see that on the video or not, but it does look really pretty that the shiny little larger portions of the die cuts for their eyes matches up with the hoop. So I'm just going to push that together and get that all adhered and ready to add onto my project. And I do want to make this so that it's just kind of almost like really even with the top edge of my card. And just going to add a little bit of glue there. And I did actually mark the center of the top of my card there just to get this centered. Now I have added some liquid adhesive onto the bird to glue it into place inside the hoop. And I'm going to just go ahead and add this little bird in behind as well. And I'll use just a little bit of thin foam adhesive on the back of this second bird to keep that in place and just slightly in front of the first little bird there. So I'll just kind of mess around with these a little bit and get them in the right spot. And now what I've done is I've die cut out the feet again from that same colored cream cardstock. And I'm going to just adhere this so that they overlay over top of the feet that are already there. And it just helps to create that imagery that the birds are actually holding on to that little pole. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my Honeybee Stamps Intense Black ink, and I'm going to stamp out the sentiment from the By Your Side sentiment set. This is a beautiful sentiment set with a coordinating die set. It is lovely, and it coordinates really nicely with the lovely layers Lovebirds. I'm going to use a little bit of foam adhesive on the back of the sentiment strip, and then I'll adhere it centered just below the little Lovebirds to create this really pretty little wedding card. Thank you so much for watching today, friends. I have linked up in the description box below to all of the different products that I've used from the Honeybee shop. Make sure you check out those links and all of the other products from the Vintage Love collection. Have an amazing day, friends, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.